All right, so we'll get started talking about applying to competitive and specialized programs. So we'll introduce our panelists today. We'll talk about what specialized programs are. We'll go through some examples of these programs and talk about how those programs can, like learnings from those can help you apply to other specialized programs if you're not applying to those specific ones. And then we'll open things up for a Q&A. So if you have questions throughout this presentation, feel free to pop them in the Q&A box and we will answer them the best that we can. So we have Arianna Lee here with us today. Arianna, can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. I'm an admissions counselor here at Quad. Hello to you all. I'm a graduate of Dartmouth College, graduated a long time ago in 2017 with a bachelor's in neuroscience. And I truly love this topic because it is something that I have a number of students that ask about, especially within medicine in regards to nursing or even arts. They want to know about what can they do to stand out in the specialized programs that they're interested in. So I'm definitely happy to dive into this topic today.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's talk about what specialized programs are. I think that there's, so many different things that fall into this category, and Arianna will help us narrow that down a little bit.
Absolutely. Specialized programs, not to be completely confused with like dual or like BSMD or dual enrolled programs. Specialized programs are academic programs that focus on a specific subject or field of knowledge. These programs are designed to provide in-depth education training in the particular area. So as specialized skills to help develop that expertise, to help the student become really hyper-focused in that particular area of interest. Examples of specialized programs can range from medicine, law, business, education, arts, theater, the list goes on. But it's really about honing in on that particular field of knowledge.
Fantastic. And I think one thing that kind of carries between all of these is generally you need additional application materials
Yes.
of what the normal common application or just the general application for the undergrad university itself, whether that's auditions,
yes.
A ton of other things.
No, absolutely right. In fact, most cases, they will ask why you're interested in a particular academic program or specialized program. In addition, if you're applying to musical or arts focused, they're definitely going to ask for an audition or some type of portfolio of work for you to submit.
All right, so let's talk about some examples of competitive and specialized programs. And these are just a couple general examples that we have, but we'll talk about how, what we talk about with these specific programs can apply to all of those competitive specialized programs.
Absolutely. And just to clarify too, although we're going to name a few of these specialized programs, it is to be noted that most specialized programs are very competitive because they're giving you that just in-depth knowledge of this specific material, of this specific area of focus. So it is very competitive for a majority of the specialized programs. But let's hop into Juilliard Bachelor of Fine Arts. I'm sure you all have heard of Juilliard. They produced tons of your favorite, on-screen actors and dancers, and the list goes on. But this particular acting program, it does span 4 years, so it is undergrad. It is a rigorous curriculum focused on everything, movement, voice. They're going to go Shakespearean, Alexander technique, and more. And if you're, depending on what area of expertise that you're focused on, whether that be acting or dance or singing or even instrumental, they're going to really hone in on what is going to make you become a successful musician, artist, post-graduation. So these, although it is very competitive, it is for a reason. It's because they're going to be producing you to a level of when you graduate, you're going to be ready to be at the level of your favorite actors and so on and so forth. It is highly competitive with an acceptance rate of 7%. It is ranked as one of the top schools for the arts. And let's dive into more as far as what can help you stand out against your competition.
All right. And a lot of this might not pertain to other fine arts programs, but generally kind of the basics here will translate to specific acting, fine arts, music programs across kind of state schools, specific like niche acting schools kind of across the board.
Absolutely. And as well, although we're talking about these specific specialized programs here, a lot of your universities, state universities and all of that, they will have particular colleges that might have programs that are available if these are a little more out of reach.
Yeah.
Just something to consider. But anyways, high school transcript is something that is needed for all of your college applications. They're going to ask for your high school transcript. And of course, as we've mentioned before, 7% acceptance rate. So we want to make sure we stand out with our high school transcript. So make sure that you are improving your GPA. You don't want to start at a high note on your 9th grade year and then slowly decline. You want to continuous improvement, or you're starting and staying at A plus, A level, or in your top percentile of your class. They're going to also want a 1 to 2 page essay. Now, this may be separate from your typical Common App essay. This is going to be in regards to Juilliard specifically, why you're interested in this program. 2 letters of recommendation. So at least one should come from a theater professional, theater teacher, someone that knows what you're able to give, someone that knows and can speak to your skill set and why you're deserving of to be in that 7% acceptance rate. So really think more as far as don't just put a teacher or someone that you worked with one time for the summer. Really think in depth as far as someone that can speak to your growth, speak to how established you are in your craft. Also, you want to give a 1 to 2 page artistic resume. So this is different than your regular resume. This is going to be speaking on your theatrical works. If you're into art, animation, anything that's speaking to the particular projects that deal with art, or if you're into music, maybe this is songs that you produce, things that albums or things that you have put out that is in relation to art. That's what you want to put on your artistic resume. So it is different from a regular resume. Just want to emphasize that. You do want to put your photo, and this will be like a headshot. A lot of art related, theater related schools, programs will ask for a headshot. So make sure to look into that if you don't already have one. And then of course, the famous audition. You want to prepare and think on what pieces you want to perform, because that is going to be telling to the admissions officer, admissions person that is reviewing your audition material. They're going to want to know, why did you choose this piece? What does it mean to you? How did you perform it? In what way did you perform it? What each element, each and everything that you do in this audition will speak to who you are. So it is another layer to your essay. So really think deep as far as what you want to present in this audition.
Do you have any tips for folks that may be starting this process and thinking about what they might want to use as their, audition piece for portfolio pieces, like who they should be working with and talking to about that?
Yes. So who you're going to be asking the letter of recommendation, if you're going to be working with that theater or that music or the teacher that knows you in that way the best, I would work with them. I would work with brainstorming them, as well as your counselor or admissions counselor as well, just to give you some additional feedback. But I would work with them in regards to coming up, hey, how should I perform this audition? You can be meeting with them daily, weekly, and just really honing in as far as what you want this audition to say about you. And also, similar to your personal essay, your audition is telling a story. So maybe think first, what story do you want to tell? Maybe brainstorm on that first. So that way, when you do meet with your theater teacher, you can kind of work through, hey, here's the story that I want to present about myself. Here's some things here's challenges or elements of myself that I really want to highlight in this audition. How can I do that?
Fantastic. Thank you. So we touched on this a little bit, but we'll dive in a little bit more on how to help your application stand out.
Yes, absolutely. So again, showcasing that talent through your audition. You really want to think more out of the box because again, it's a 7% acceptance rate. It is important you don't want to just look up accepted auditions, or you don't want to look up famous auditions, because if you're going to copy or if you're going to try and mimic those, it's not going to come across, one, genuine, and two, it's going to be what they've already seen. They want to see something different. They want to see something that is you. So how are you going to present that? And again, just really project confidence. You should study this piece. You should know it inside and out. It should be second nature when you're ready to perform. So really start early. It is not something that you want to wait till the last minute on, because it will reflect. The practice makes perfect, and especially with performance pieces. And then also seek diverse performance experiences. So they definitely want to see that this has been a passion that has always been with you. When you're applying to these specialized programs, again, you're competing against others, but on second, beyond that, they want to see how much do you love this? How much do you love this particular field of study? Why should we choose you? Why should we give up someone else's spot to you? You really have to show them that this is where you belong. This is something that you have breathed in and out for, I don't know how to exaggerate it, but you really want to express to them your passion for the arts or for the particular program that you're applying to. So community theater productions, collaborating with other artists, even if you're doing your own initiatives, I mean, there's social media, the sky's the limit as far as showcasing your work. Think outside the box. And again, you have multiple people that you can kind of bounce ideas off of as far as what you can do to gain more diverse performance experiences.
All right. So now we're going to talk a little bit about majors at schools that are really niche and require, specific applications. They have their own selection process. So you might be applying to, so for this example, Virginia Tech, but you're applying to a specific program within that school. So not only do you have to meet the requirements to get into that school, but you also need to apply to the program, which if you're applying to programs like this at larger public universities, the acceptance rates you see there for, University of Michigan for a specific program there might be, much, much smaller. So
Absolutely.
yeah, take it away, Arianna.
Yes, no, absolutely. You're right. Virginia Tech, for example, has this awesome 5-year Bachelor of Architecture program. Although Virginia Tech has a higher acceptance rate at 56%, the program itself is a lot lower. So it's very important that you stand out in both applications, but very much so explaining why you should be accepted into, for example, the National Architectural Accrediting Board, why you should be accepted into Virginia Tech's secondary school of architecture. So again, what are you going to showcase that exhibits and exudes that passion for architecture? They're going to want to see sketches. They're going to want to see work experience and all of those things that we'll get into further. But just as Hallie said, you don't want to assume that the acceptance rate is higher, that you're shoe-in for the specialized program. Specialized programs are niche, and again, they're going to give you a leg up against your job competition when you graduate. So they are very low acceptance rate for a reason.
One thing that is something that admissions counselors see across the board is students that will get into like an Ivy League school, just general Ivy League, but not get into like a specialized program at a larger public university or just a larger research university that does have a higher acceptance rate. And that's because these specialized programs do have much smaller acceptance rates. So in some cases, it's easier to get into Stanford or Yale than it is to get into like these specialized programs.
So true. Which is saying a lot.
it really is. So some, high level admissions requirements here, but as Arianna will speak to in a second, like you want to make sure you are looking at the specific programs requirements.
Absolutely. And again, it's awesome to start your research now, especially you have the summer to really dive in and, well, you don't have all summer. Try and get that done early. But really research your school so that way you can figure out, okay, I'm applying to this specific specialized program. What do I need to do in order to stand out in this program? So for example, Virginia Tech Bachelor of Architecture admission requirements, you have to be in the competitive edge for high school transcript. So you're looking at average GPA of 4.0 for typical accepted students. Is there a one-off? Sure, maybe, but typically the average is 4.0. Same with SAT and ACT scores. They're looking for top scores. So average score between 1330 and 1500 for SAT and ACT between 30 to 34. And of course, list of activities are going to be crucial. So you really want to highlight, of course, highlight that you were a part of, I don't know, robotics club or your chess club or anything like that. But you really want to look at what activities really showcase my work and my dedication to architecture. Maybe start working with your school's architecture teacher if they have one. If not, you want to seek outside. What architecture firms can I partner with, or can I look to kind of shadow or intern at that, again, showcase that I took that extra initiative to showcase my passion for architecture.
And that also, like if you're doing engineering, robotics, math, all of those things are important. So really
very true.
Want to tailor it to the program itself. So we did just talk about this, but we can gloss over it quickly here.
Absolutely. And again, like Holly said, math and things related to that do feed into architecture if there's just nothing available, but you do really want to try and get some type of architectural internship, whether it's design competitions, workshops, community design projects, or even wood shopping or anything that helps showcase. I've tried to go out of my way to really take a genuine interest in architecture. That's going to help stand out to the admissions committee when they're deciding, hey, this person has everything, has the SAT and ACT score, has the awesome GPA, but they've done nothing related to architecture. How much are they really going to enjoy this program? Should we give this spot to someone else that really has that passion for architecture? Another thing too, you really want to make sure you achieve the high GPA and SAT score as well, because again, it's crucial to stand out against the other competitors. They might have everything similar to you, but you might have that something special that stands out and is the difference between you getting accepted and you not being accepted.
Fantastic. All right, so there's MIT, which is a very selective school in and of itself. And we'll dive into that a little bit.
Absolutely. Similar to Juilliard and our schools on the list today. I'm sure y'all have heard of MIT. So Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering is super competitive at MIT because of how specialized MIT already is. And then they're going a step further. So again, MIT is a top national leader in awarding master's, doctoral degrees, everything related to tech and STEM field in general is MIT. So MIT's chemical engineering program is very competitive. It does have extra components such as, again, why do you want to pursue this particular major? What have you done that helps showcase this particular major? You want to get letters of recommendation from science teachers, chemistry teachers, anything that is showcasing that you've taken that extra initiative to go further into chemical engineering. Again, you're competing with a lot of people that are applying to MIT specifically to go into chemical engineering. So what are you going to do to stand out? Awesome. So some things that MIT's Bachelor of Science in Chemical Engineering require, similar to all of their other majors, but official high school transcript. They really want to see that you're performing well and that you can handle the course load and degree of complexity that MIT will be giving to each of their students. So they want to see, how have you handled your current classes? Are you taking AP classes? Are you taking the hardest level classes available to you? Are you just taking the easy classes? Are you taking extra credits? Are you taking any additional classes during the summer? They want to see all of that. Statement of purpose. So again, as I mentioned before, they want to see, what are your intentions or reasons for pursuing this particular program? They want to see what experience you had. So you want to include that description of prior experience. And again, there's ways to tailor your essay. With MIT, it is more straightforward. So you really want to be intentional with how you're writing that essay and statement of purpose. And again, average SAT scores are in the higher percentile, with average score accepted being 1,500 and ACT average score being 34 accepted. Again, there are one-offs, but this is typically for accepted students. 4 short essays of approximately 200 words each. I don't recall off the top of my head what those topics are, but they are ranging in regards to, they're trying to see how you're thinking. They're all related to engineering, and engineers are always coming up with new ways to solve problems. So each question is a new way for you to solve a problem and be unique in how you're solving that problem. Letters of recommendation. They do want 3 letters of recommendation, and preferred 1 or 2 from a STEM related teacher or STEM related professor, program, something in STEM. And again, list of activities. It can be all of the activities that you've been in within high school. It could be student council or things that might not necessarily be STEM related. But the biggest things that you want to, of course, highlight are your experiences in relation to chemical engineering. What experiences that you have that you can kind of tailor it to showing your passion for chemical engineering. And lastly, they will do an interview. Like most schools, but this one will count. You will want to make sure that you practice interview questions and just know as far as why, again, you're interested in this particular specialized program.
Fantastic. And like Arianna said, for a lot of these specialized programs, you are going to have essays that are why this school, why this program, and being as specific as possible there is really, really important. Arianna, do you have any other tips for those, like why us, why this program essays across, like just across the board?
Yes, absolutely. Do research on the schools. If you want to write out, whether it's in a notebook or something, but take notes as far as why are you actually interested in the school itself, not for the location. You don't want to just say because it's in Boston or it's near city. And you don't want to just say general, this is why I like chemical engineering. Say why you want to study chemical engineering specifically at MIT. What is it about MIT's program that is really going to help you further your career, further your passions for chemical engineering or whatever programs you're interested in?
Fantastic. All right. So we did cover this, but we can gloss over it again quickly.
Absolutely. So again, yes, list of activities related to engineering science. So you're competing with a lot of students in general for MIT's spot, and MIT does have, I want to say it's below 10% acceptance rate. So again, a reach school, but you want to stand out as much as possible. So participating in engineering clubs, science fairs, research projects, anything that's showing, hey, I really am passionate about STEM. And here's how I've been taking action to show that. And again, they want to see that this is a passion. So it needs to be genuine. It can't just be space fillers is what I call them. things that you've just done in high school just to pad your resume or pad the application. They really want to see what level of dedication have you taken in these particular organizations or clubs or research projects. Problem-solving skills and ability to apply theoretical knowledge to practical situations. That is what they're looking for to see out of all of those experiences that you've been doing. So if you're going to do research projects, make sure that you have someone to kind of co-sign what you've been working on. So you want to have a mentor or someone that can showcase and write off the fact that you've been doing this research project for however long you've been doing it. It's fine to do individual initiatives, but you want to have something to legitimize it. And same thing with any organizations or clubs that you start on your own. You want to have someone to legitimize your efforts. So make sure that you're partnering with, whether that be a teacher, a counselor, someone that can, again, further talk about it in your letters of recommendation. And on to letters of recommendation. You want to get, again, a letter of recommendation from a STEM teacher, whether that be a science teacher or a math teacher, depending on what you're planning to major in at your particular school. However, since we're talking about chemical engineering, a science teacher or engineering teacher that can speak to all the things that you've done, all the initiatives that you've taken, how you are in class, how hungry you are for the next challenge. Maybe you were a TA or a teacher's aide for particular classes, or you help to mentor students on the particular field of subject on chemistry and physics. Anyone that can attest to how dedicated you are and to your skills and knowledge is who you want to write your letter of recommendation.
All right. So talk about UPenn's nursing, and I think that just goes for nursing schools kind of across the board. There's a ton of different ways to, attend nursing programs, but if you are going for a bachelor's in nursing at a school, generally you either have to apply to the school specifically while you're applying to the undergrad program or within your undergrad years.
Absolutely. And UPenn School of Nursing is definitely well-known, definitely a well-known program. And the reason why too, they really integrate the knowledge as far as including that patient care and how you are handling patients and learning how to take care of particular situations. They layer that in within your undergraduate years. They equip you for diverse patient care settings, state-of-the-art simulation lab, team-based clinical practice, comprehensive mentorship programs. And again, not to say that the other schools don't offer this, but this in particular is for UPenn's program. And they do help broaden their horizons with student-led initiatives, study abroad opportunities, and faculty-guided internships. And in fact, I do have a student that is in their nursing program and speaks highly of how the program is going. So definitely awesome there. And again, it is competitive, like all of these programs, all these specialized programs. You really need to know why you are interested in the field of study that you're interested in. It cannot be a general, I want to help people. You really need to pinpoint what is that inspiration for you, whether that's a personal story, whether that's where you envision taking healthcare or how you plan to change things. Maybe something's happened, or maybe nothing's happened, but you see the state of mental health, or it can be a wide range of things dealing within the medical field, but you really need to showcase that unique why medicine or why nursing.
And then beyond that, why nursing here? All right.
Absolutely.
So some requirements.
Absolutely. So similar to the others, high school transcripts. Again, like the others, the programs, they do require a higher GPA. And again, you want to showcase that you are increasing in performance and not the other way. So if you start at 9th grade lower than what you would like, at least show that you have improved consistently. And also maybe if there's a class or where you didn't initially do well, but you've been working and dedicated and improved your grade, maybe from first semester to second semester, those are great letters of recommendation to do. It does not always have to be your best and shining moment. It can also show your hard work and dedication paid off in your letters of recommendation from who you choose. And speaking of letters of recommendation, you want to get one from high school counselor and at least one teacher, and a third can be from maybe the program director of the nursing home that you volunteered at over the summer. They will also interview. They want to get to know you. They want to get to know how special you are and all the wonderful things that you've been involved in. And of course, they want to get to know why you are interested in the program of nursing. And of course, they want to see that you are committed to science, that you are prepared and in love with healthcare and patient care, because that's what you'll be doing over the next 4 years, is consistently working with patients. So they want to make sure that they're putting, of course, the right people on their team, so to speak, but also people who are truly passionate and have done and have exhibited their passion through their volunteer work, through the coursework that they've chosen to do, and of course, their activities and extracurriculars. So really look at what your school offers and see what can kind of align with nursing, whether that be mentorships, whether that be more healthcare focused nursing homes. I know that some nursing homes, they do have age limits, or they have more stricter regulations since COVID. So just try and work with your counselor and see where you can volunteer at that can still show that you're dedicated to patient care and healthcare.
Yeah.
And of course, how you can stand out. So like I said, volunteering at a hospital or clinic will of course help. Is everyone else also volunteering at a hospital or clinic? Yes. So standing out with just hospital and clinic is not going to make the cut. You want to think more out of the box. Maybe there's specialized hospitals or clinics you can work with. Maybe it's rehabilitative hospitals or clinics, or maybe it's ones dedicated to dementia care, or to maybe you want to start looking at more niche hospital or clinics. That way it can help show a story and why you're so passionate about choosing that particular hospital or clinic to work at. Same thing with if you were doing any type of research projects or anything within the healthcare field, think more niche and specific, because everyone else is going to be doing the same thing. So you want to figure out, how can I stand out even more? And again, obtaining a letter of recommendation from a science teacher, you want to always choose, no matter who you're getting as a recommender, someone who can speak to your level of work. You don't want to just choose the doctor that you worked with if the doctor never really worked with you. You want to speak to someone that is really going to give a true in-depth level of recommendation that will help show the admissions officers, yes, this is who is belonging to the program.
All right, so that wraps up our knowledge section of this. So feel free to pop in any questions that you have about the presentation, about this topic, and Arianna and I will do our best to answer them. Meanwhile, Arianna, do you have any other tips that we didn't necessarily cover? I know there were so many different types of programs we could have dove into, and we just did a select few, and a lot of these learnings kind of go across the board to all specialized programs. But do you have any extra tips that you have for your students when they're looking at these types of programs?
Yes, I would say if they can either tour or talk to anyone that's already in the programs, that they can just give you a further insight knowledge of the program. Maybe you have specific questions that can just help you when you're answering why us or why this program at this particular school. Any type of research that you can do, the better.
All right. So for AP exams, do you have to get a 5? Is a 4 going to make a big difference in whether or not you can get into college or not? I guess, how much do AP scores matter?
So AP scores matter as far as if it's going to count for a credit. If you are applying and you're showing that you are really dedicated to chemical engineering and you took a chemical engineering course in high school, if they offer that, and you got a 2 or a 3 in the course, that is going to probably bring some cause to the admissions officer if they see that. So perhaps choose and be picky with what you showcase as far as your AP scores. But a 4 is not a bad score. 4 and 5s are fine.
Do you normally need to send in your AP scores if you take AP classes, or do colleges just want to see that you're getting an A in an AP? And
they want to see that you're getting an A in an AP. Oh, sorry.
Unless you like are asking for credit for that class from the college or university, does the score matter?
No, the scores don't matter, but in specialized programs, anything that helps showcase, like you took that extra initiative, you took the test. What did you get on the test? Everything is going to matter depending on how specialized the programs are and how tough the competition is. So would I include it if it's below a 4? No, I wouldn't. You don't have to send in everything.
All right. So someone else has a question on, do you have any tips on how to get into research if the student's never done research before? And I will, before you answer,
yes,
do you have a whole webinar on this? You can go find it on our website and watch that, but Arianna will give you a couple tips here as well.
Absolutely, you're right. Yes, so I would say work with your counselor because counselors and sometimes schools get they have connections to more local programs or local things that are available. However, if that is not available to you, or if that is no help as of now to you for your counselor, I would say reach out, look at different schools or universities near you and see what professor is working in a field that you're really interested in, and cold call or email the professor and see, hey, can I work with you with your lab research? I'm a high school student here. I'm really passionate about this. I'm planning to go into this particular field when I graduate. Explain to them and email a few different professors. So that way you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, but it does work. Cold emailing or cold calling to get research does work. It worked for me. It works for many other students that I've had as well. So try that as an option. And there are also websites dedicated to connecting students to research opportunities as well.
And feel free to reach out to Quad if you have any more questions on that or need help there. We have a team that can help you figure out how to start that process.
Yes.
So if you're doing extra classes in the summer, do the classes have to be aligned or relate to the specialized programs? So
I do. So that's a tough question. So yes and no, right? So it depends on how much you really want to go into that specialized program, because if you are truly just fully passionate about that particular subject, then you want to take as many classes as you can on it, because that's going to help, again, show your exhibited and demonstrated interest to that particular program's admissions. However, on the flip side, it is also okay to take classes to figure out what you do like or what you are passionate about, to further kind of just broaden your horizon. Maybe you think you're interested in doing a particular program, but you're really not sure. Taking additional summer classes in other fields of interest is also fine.
So
I hope that answered the question.
Oh, I think it absolutely did. I guess one thing that I'd love for you to answer or just give like, thoughts on for people to think about is kind of how you know you should be applying to these specialized programs. Like, how do you know if you are as invested as you need to be to get in? Is there things that you encourage your students to think about when they're figuring out whether they want to decide to apply to that or more general programs?
Absolutely. And that's why I kind of stress trying to connect to someone that's in the program, if at all possible. I can give my opinion on it as much as I can, and I can say from past experience or even past students that have gone through it, everyone's experience is going to be different. So even if you do reach out to that particular student that's going through the program, they might say it's wonderful, you'll love it, and you get there and it's grueling and you can't wait to leave. Or vice versa. They might say that they hate it and you get there and it's absolutely, you love it. But I would say reach out to them to at least see what are they doing? What are they doing? How does this align with things that you actually like to do? Sometimes a student, for example, really loves photography, loves taking photos on the weekends, and that's their hobby. They then go into a specialized photography program, just for example, and it's nothing like they thought it would be. They're learning how to do the film, or they're learning particular techniques, and then they end up hating it because it's not what they thought it was. So I say, if you're really going to dedicate your undergraduate years to this particular specialized program, really figure out if this is something you want to do. Really ask people that are in the program, take a tour if you can, do virtual tours, research as much as you can to see if this is really the topic that I want to go further into. You're young in your life to figure this out, but of course there are many others like you that have made this decision and they love it. So it's not, I can't speak to say go for it, but I say do as much research as you can.
I think that's definitely a great answer. All right, so another couple questions. So do colleges see your semester or entire year grades? And I'm going to assume this question is regarding senior year grades.
They do see your final grades. If you are already applying to the school, then they'll do a mid-year report, which may show your semester grades for your senior year. But they typically will do the final grades. They'll do mid-year and also final.
So even if you're already accepted, they'll see what your ending grades are. So this is
don't slack. Do
off.
not.
Senior
You're almost there. You're almost to the finish line. Don't give up.
Push through the senioritis. It is worth it. And then I think for other years, they are going to get the grades that your school shows them. So it'll be, if your school is semesters or trimesters, it will be related to those.
Yes. Very true. So I was thinking for some reason, quarter system, the quarters, like Q1, Q2, and then it's the final. But yes, you're right. Yeah.
Well, I think some do. I think my school also did quarters as well.
Yeah.
There's a million different ways they do it. Every school is different, but they will see all of your grades through the end of the year. One last question we just have is just any tips that you have on scholarships. I think someone wants to know what scholarships exist for these particular programs, and I know that we can't answer that. There's a million that exist through the schools and not in the schools, but do you have any tips on where to look for scholarships?
Yes, I would say it's a lot of scholarships that people do not know, or students don't know, that are locally that exist locally to you. The ones that do have access to this information firsthand are your school counselors. Reach out to them. They do have that resource for local scholarships. Larger scholarships are available. There are plenty of resources like Scoli.com scholarships that have lists of scholarships that you can apply to. In particular to the school and to the programs, of course, check with the school's website, check with the school's financial aid department, actually call them and say, hey, I'm a prospective student. I'm trying to see what scholarships may be available to me. And they will have that access for you for the particular program and the particular school.
Awesome. Thank you. So depends on the program. Ask, your counselors, ask the school. Really, you'll have to dig in that way. All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our webinar tonight. I want to thank Arianna for joining us. It was great to have you. As always, I know I learned a lot. I'm sure other folks did as well. And then everyone who joined, thank you so much for joining. We'll send out an email in the next few days with a link to this webinar. We also have links, we have all of our webinars uploaded on our website. You can go take a look at those for free as well. And definitely reach out to Quad if you have any questions and want to learn more about our services and how we can help you with your application process. All right. I hope everyone has a great night. Thanks again, Arianna.
Have a wonderful one. Thank you.